So Vergil Ortiz manages to stop his opponent Frederick in the first round, and this was a bit of a weird fight because we didn't get to see enough of the fight to see how well um, Vergil Ortiz has how well he's doing in terms of his recovery, because we know obviously what's happened with him with his sickness, with the way he's been acting, like in terms of like his basically his sickness and his recovery, because it's been the longest inactivity period that he's had in his career. I think he's been off for 17 months. So for him, we wanted to see what he could do in the 154 division. It's a division he's only recently moved up to just for this one fight. And obviously against Frederick, I think he wobbled him in I think in the middle of the round, and then he got him up against the rope and he just wailed on him. And even before that, he was landing good jabs. He was blocking. The thing I like about Vergil Ortiz is he's a very textbook fighter. So usually you see fighters that are usually young. They usually fight with their hands low sometimes. They try to be more slick than they are. But with Vergil Ortiz, he's very textbook. His hands are always eye on a high guard. And because of that, he knows how to generate punching power from a high guard. And I think that's where he generates all of his power from. When he lets his hands go, he's absolutely vicious. And he looks like a force of nature. So literally, when he got him wobbled in the middle of the ring, he had his back against the ropes, and he started wailing on him, and he was about to go off on him. And I think Tony Weeks was a bit premature with the stoppage. I mean, he just went in there and stopped it. But to be fair to him, his opponent Frederick just wasn't throwing any punches back. He took 10 punches unanswered, and I think he was wobbling because you can see that his leg did a bit of a funny movement before he went back into the rope. So he was hurt. But I think he should have been given a bit more of an opportunity. The funny thing was, when it happened, immediately, like it seemed like he acquiesced and accepted it. But then as the time went on, I think his the dizziness in his legs went, and he started violently protesting. And in my head, I was thinking, like, where was this energy before the fight got stopped, man? You couldn't do anything. But then after the fight gets stopped, you protest the stoppage. Truth be told, though, like it was a bit premature and early, but it just seemed like he didn't have any fire in the fight. But then as soon as the fight gets stopped, all of a sudden he has all this fire. But my opinion is this: it's not enough to see what could be said with this particular fight, because obviously 17th month of inactivity. He's a relatively young fighter, so inactivity probably won't affect him as much as an older fighter. But at the same time, you can't gauge a fighter's progress just on one round, and he needs to have more interim fights. In a post-fight interview, he did mention that he wanted to fight Tim Zissou in the 154 division, and obviously that's a good fight. But I just find it interesting. This card was a bit of a weird one. I think everyone on the televised card has got knocked out. So there was a KO on every part of the fight. But the last two fights, the co-main event and the main event, got stopped in the first round. It's crazy. Like the O'Hara Davis fight, that was a good stoppage. I think O'Hara Davis just could not defend himself. But with the second fight, I think he was premature. But Vergil Ortiz literally has not put a step wrong in his career, apart from the sickness that he had to go through. Maybe he's training too hard. It kind of reminds me of Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev is going through some health issues at this moment in time, maybe because he's training too hard. But apart from that, he's literally killed it. 20 fights, 20 knockouts, and his latest performance, it was too premature of a stoppage to see how good he is in the 154 division. But he looked like he was going to stop him anyway. So I think it's a good performance, but I think we need to see more with Vergil Ortiz. I'm kind of disappointed that he left the 147 division, because originally we was going to see him fight Stanios. But obviously that fight fell through because of his health issues. But I always wanted to see him fight Boots Ennis. I always wanted to see that fight, but unfortunately we're not going to see it because he's moved up to 154. Unless Boots Ennis moves up to 154 as well, then we might be able to see it. But I think Boots Ennis is going to want to stay at welterweight for longer. I just got that feeling about him. So yeah, it was a good performance, but unfortunately got stopped too soon for us to see what was really going on. Tell me what you think below. Where do you think Vergil Ortiz goes from here? I think he needs several more fights because the inactivity has not been great. Obviously, no fault of his own. Obviously, he had a bit of a sickness, but I think he needs a few more fights, and then we can gauge where he's at. Tell me what you think below, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace.